You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. MUFUMBWE'S KALENGWA mine wrangles deepen. Christopher MVUNGA sworn in as BLZ governor. MPs take turns in questioning the relevance of the Ministry of Religious Affairs. In international news, Malawi president backtracks on 1 million jobs promise. And in sports news, Vice President Rex MWEEMBA and former CHIPOLOPOLO defender Hilary MAKASA have died. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
Join us on the 9th of October 2020
for the National Matters Conference in Kitwe. Venue: Living Water Global Church in Wusakile, opposite Wusakile Police Station. Time: 08 hours to 17 hours. Theme: Unlocking Zambia's potential through raising a generation of generational thinkers. Charges: 510 kwacha, lunch inclusive. Please note that any payments done after Wednesday the 7th of October or on the actual day of the event will attract a penalty fee of 200 kwacha. Speakers will be Dr. Collins Kachaka.
If you have a 3 liters per second, then we say in science that you qualify to get involved in fish farming because you have adequate water.
Dr. Mushalika.
Don't overlisten to people who are happy to see you poor. They don't mean any good for us. There are no people who are developed by others. All people develop themselves.
Dr. Prosper Sievu, Engineer Bernard Chuala.
You are welcome so that we can create a critical mass of participants in the avocado industry. 1 hectare in 12 months will give you no less than 1 million kwacha. Hello?
Mr. Himbai.
You planted a deep-rooted plant into a shallow-rooted. So where is it getting the nutrients? Nowhere. So that plant, it will not give you the potency. You have failed at land preparation.
Mr. Salanda.
All of them lay eggs. You can use them for eggs and also for meat. They lay at least in a year a minimum of, to the lowest, a minimum of 100 chickens each.
All the dyes, all the paints, all the lubricants, they come from a plant called castor. 34% of our medicinal elements, they come from a castor root.
Not forgetting your host, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chidora.
It is unthinkable.
Take note, limited numbers are due to COVID-19 restrictions. Make your payments through Airtel Mobile Money on 0979 75 3010 or on MTN Mobile Money on 0962 382535 or 0962 965883.
Really been impacted on so many levels.
This was really powerful and I'm glad I didn't miss this one.
This conference has been wonderful in the sense that the knowledge that we've acquired within a day is so much overwhelming.
Should this conference come to Western Province, I urge them all to come en masse.
I didn't know that there's potential in me and wealth was lying right where I was.
The way to go right now is agriculture.
The knowledge that we have gathered out of this meeting is immeasurable.
Hurry, don't miss this life-changing conference.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. All opposition political parties that walked out of the Electoral Commission of Zambia consultative meeting to discuss the prison vote shunned the closing event. ECZ and the Zambia Law Development Commission, however, went ahead without these key stakeholders. The two-day validation meeting was aimed at repealing and agreeing to some provisions in the Electoral Amendment Bill of 2020. ECZ Vice Chairperson Emily Sikazwe says submission towards the bill are still ongoing, calling on all stakeholders to bring forth what they wish should be contained in the bill. Meanwhile, Prisons Care and Counseling Association Executive Director Godfrey Malembeka is happy with the outcome of the meeting.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia has ended its two-day stakeholders meeting it held with civil society organizations and political parties, regardless of some boycotting the meeting yesterday. The meeting was meant to validate the Electoral Amendment Bill of 2020 on the prison's vote. Today, the second day was set aside to scrutinize the bill in groups for easy validation and repealing. In this meeting, all the three groups agreed to repeal Section 29, number 4 of the bill, which forbade political parties to enter the prisons and campaign. According to the stakeholders, this was an unfair clause that gave advantage to the ruling party, who may have leeway to walk in and out of these facilities without being asked. With that said, stakeholders agreed on some clauses and ended the meeting on a positive note, with Electoral Commission of Zambia Vice Chairperson Emily Sikazwe expressing gratitude to those that remained to conclude the meeting.
Not to come and get consensus on whether it was correct for prisoners to vote or not, whether political parties agree or not. We called you here to look at modalities of how the directive from the Constitutional Court was going to be implemented. Yourselves and the Commission have no say in the matter whatsoever. The issue was settled by the Constitutional Court, but the modalities are what we gathered here to do. The Commission will continue to seek the views of all stakeholders in order for us to build consensus. And as has been said, the validation will take place. And you will be invited to the validation meeting. As to whether the two commissions here can incorporate representatives of political parties on the technical committee.
In speaking on the sidelines of the meeting, Prisons Care and Counseling Association Executive Director Godfrey Malembeka says this is a step in the right direction and hopes that the document will be finalized to allow incarcerated persons to register as voters while there is still time.
I'm very excited with what has happened today, because we have even seen some of those political party representatives who left yesterday coming back. This is as it should be, because we are simply actualizing or operationalizing the court ruling. So ECZ can't do it alone. They have involved everyone, and I'm very happy with the process. I only pray that we speed up the process and finish this quite early so that inmates can actually participate in the voter registration and also the issuance and replacement of NRCs. Those two documents are very, very key for them to exercise their right to choose leaders of their choice.
This meeting was one of the series of the meetings which ECZ will hold, after which traditional leaders and legal minds will also be consulted. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
President Edgar Lungu has sworn in Christopher Vunga as new Bank of Zambia governor following his ratification by Parliament last week. Zanis reports that Mr. Vunga, the former Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet for Economic and Finance Affairs, was appointed by President Lungu on August 22, 2020, after the dismissal of Dr. Danny Kalyalia. President Lungu has since urged Mr. Vunga to review and formulate policy-driven solutions to address the macroeconomic challenges that the economy is currently facing. The head of state stated that the economy is facing numerous challenges, particularly this year when the country has not been spared from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Mr. Vunga has pledged to work towards addressing the country's economic challenges.
See how we come up with policies that mitigate, particularly this strike during COVID-19. And I think I also want to reassure all stakeholders that the operational independence of the central bank will be retained and maintained. There's no way that we're going to compromise. I'm going to compromise the operational independence of the central bank, and it will be in line with the relevant legislation, such as the Bank of Zambia Act, and also in line with international best practice. So I can assure the Zambia that we will maintain the operational independence of the bank.
The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, says the cost of living still remains high in Zambia. Acting Social and Economic Development Manager Muchimba Siamachoka says the JCTR's basic needs food basket for the month of September 2020 stood at over 7,000, with a reduction of 106.85 kwe compared to 7,178.22 ngwe recorded in August. She adds that despite an increase in the allocation to social protection in the 2021 budget and the revision of the tax exemption threshold for pay-as-you-earn from 3,300 to 4,000, the reality of living a dignified life still is far from attainable given the high cost of living, whose cost level is significantly above household average income. She reiterated that the country's economic performance has worsened, thereby compromising the livelihoods of most vulnerable citizens. She adds that the country's poverty reduction efforts have not yielded considerable results, especially for the rural population.
The month of September 2020 stood at 7,071 kwacha, 37 ngwe, a reduction of 106 kwacha, 85 ngwe, compared to 7,178 kwacha, 22 ngwe, recorded in the month of August. The slight reduction is mainly due to reductions in the prices of some food items such as vegetables, which reduced from 493 kwacha, 39 ngwe, to 413 kwacha, 96 ngwe for 40 kg. The price of kapenta reduced from 301 kwacha, 21 ngwe, to 231 kwacha, 62 ngwe per kilogram. The cost of tomatoes also reduced from 62 kwacha, 19 ngwe in August to 51 kwacha, 26 ngwe per 6 kg in September.
Government has advised Zambians to use the day of national prayers, fasting, repentance and reconciliation to pray for the country's ailing economy and peace ahead of the 2021 general elections. Speaking in Parliament Tuesday afternoon after rendering a ministerial statement on the preparations of the event, National Guidance and Religious Affairs Minister Godfrida Sumaili said the country can only progress if its citizens put God first. But some opposition members of parliament questioned the relevance of the ministry, accusing it of being active when admonishing the opposition while remaining silent on matters of national values broken by those in government. The ministry recently came under fire when it remained silent on some ministers who posted obscene materials in public.
Opposition members of parliament Tuesday took turns in questioning the relevance of the Ministry of National Guidance and Religious Affairs, accusing it of only serving the interest of the governing party and not that of ordinary citizens. Leader of the opposition, Jack Mwimbo, was the first to debate over the ministry's mandate.
Your office has been so loud in its silence in condemning the unchristian conduct of certain leaders in this country. You have noticed that there is so much violence, there is hate speech in this country, but your office is so quiet on this matter. What difference are you looking forward to happen on the day of the national prayer, when immediately after these prayers we have seen mayhem, members of the public are being beaten just because they belong to a certain political party?
Honorable Minister, why is it that this day of national prayer is being shunned by many Zambians? Is it because you are the same people who perpetuate violence, arrest innocent people, and therefore they have now taken that what you are doing does not really qualify to be within the principles of Christianity.
But in her defense, Minister responsible for national guidance and religious affairs, Reverend Godfrida Sumaili, explained that her ministry is working very well in counseling opposition members who go astray.
The church also speak about these things, just like political parties also condemn. But I'm also aware that there are certain leaders of political parties who never condemn violence. In fact, what they say is that, eye for an eye. That is very retrogressive. But all of us, we are responsible to ensuring that peace is maintained in our nation.
This debate arose after Reverend Sumaili rendered a ministerial statement in Parliament on the preparations being put in place ahead of the day of national prayer, fasting, repentance and reconciliation on the 18th of October 2020.
This year's prayer and fasting convocation is coming at a time of COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant socio-economic challenges. The country is also at a time of preparing for the 2021 tripartite general elections. It is therefore critical for us to pray earnestly and fervently for the recovery of our socio-economic systems and the sustenance of our peace and unity in the nation.
This year's prayer and fasting event will be celebrated under the theme Zambia Seeks God's Intervention for Sustained National Unity, Peace and Prosperity. President Edgar Chagwa Lungu will grace the event in Lusaka at the Mlungushi International Conference Center, while Vice President Inonge Mtukwawina will grace the event in Chipata, the Eastern Province. Kalan Mchima reporting for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Youths from the National Democratic Congress (NDC) and the United Party for National Development (UPND) have vowed to go ahead with their planned protest against the Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) this week. The youths from the two political parties are accusing ECZ of aiding the ruling Patriotic Front in the handling of electoral matters such as the voter registration, doing away with the odd voters register against the Electoral Act, and allowing prisoners to vote in 2021. The police through Lusaka Province Police Commissioner Nelson Piri has meanwhile expressed ignorance over the planned protest. Speaking during a joint briefing, UPND Provincial Youth Chairman Anderson Banda says it's within their democratic right to stage a peaceful demonstration. Mr. Banda adds that both political parties have followed the rightful procedures by notifying the police over their peaceful protest. They have since urged police not to interfere in their protests, saying as they allow the PF to do whatever pleases them, they should also be left to freely participate in affairs affecting them.
As law-abiding citizens and law-abiding political parties, UPND and NDC, within our democratic rights, we followed the laid-down procedure by notifying the police, particularly in Lusaka Province, for our demonstrations, peaceful demonstrations against the ECZ, particularly Justice Churu, Shindano, and the way ECZ is running the affairs of the electoral process. I want to report to you, our leaders, that as UPND Lusaka Province leaders, in conjunction with NDC youth leadership, we successfully notified the police in all the 6 districts of Lusaka Province. The notices were sent, and the demonstration is slated for 8th October, that is Thursday. And I want to gladly report to you, our leaders, and the Lusaka Province itself and the country at large, that our youths in all the districts, in all the constituencies, the branches and the wards within Lusaka Province are very eager, very ready, and they are anticipating to take part in the strategic demonstration. As such, we feel it's our democratic right, and we are within the law to notify the police and have our peaceful demonstration, because we believe that we are bona fide Zambians and we have the right to demonstrate when we see things are jeopardizing our democracy and the peace that we've enjoyed as a country. So we want to announce that we did our part. We notified the police, and the demonstration is on 8th, that is Thursday. Whichever way, whichever angle, the police will respond to us as we are set, and we will do just that, because we know we will not be breaking the law. We are within the law.
A joint team of security personnel and the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, have intercepted 23 trucks that were being used to smuggle maize meal worth 2.5 million kwacha to other countries. ZRA Commissioner Customs Service Sydney Chibabuka says the tax authority will not allow smuggling of maize meal or maize bran because it borders on national food security. Among the intercepted trucks, 21 are said to have been carrying maize and 2 were carrying meal meant to leave the country through the Chirundu border. He said the trucks had no clearance from the Zambian authorities because of the statutory instrument number 64 that restricts the export of maize and smuggling that contravenes the Custom and Excise Act. He said 12 drivers have since been detained, while some are helping ZRA move the trucks to Lusaka, with one having escaped into Zimbabwe with the truck. We now take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Take control of your tax planning. Avoid penalties and interest. Returns and payments due by the 10th of the month for declarations of the previous month's transactions are pay as you earn and skills development levy. Returns and payments due by the 14th of the month are turnover tax, withholding tax, mineral royalty tax, tourism levy, gaming and baiting, presumptive tax. Returns and payments for all withholding VAT agents is the 16th of the month. Returns and payments for all VAT registered suppliers is the 18th of the month. Submit the returns and make payments on or before the respective due dates to avoid penalties on the late submission of returns and payments of taxes. Further, note that VAT tax invoices for all business-to-business and business-to-government transactions must bear the TPIN of the buyer without fail. Zambia Revenue Authority. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. We continue with our news. The battle for the KALENGWA copper mines in MUFUMBWE district of Northwestern Province has intensified, with several of Senior Chief Makumbi Chizela's indunas storming MUFUMBWE District Commissioner Hagai Kalota's office to warn him against sending police officers to arrest any of them in their pursuit of the mine. This follows a 2-week ultimatum given to him to sort out the ownership wrangles surrounding the mine. Mosiko Resources and Shawi Fawezi are claiming ownership of the mine. Chief Chizela and his indunas are in favor of Mosiko Resources. The ownership of the mine is currently in the courts of law.
The battle for the KALENGWA mine in MUFUMBWE district of Northwestern Province has been on for over 15 years now. Two companies, namely Mosiko Resources and Shawi Fawes, have been on the center of the mine controversy. On Monday, Senior Chief Mukumbi Chizela's headman, who gave a 2 weeks ultimatum to the district commissioner to resolve the matter or take it into their own hands, stormed his office with a warning that they will not take kindly any action from government by sending a police officer to arrest any of them should they forcibly take over the mine. The chiefs in Dunas told off the MUFUMBWE District Commissioner Hagai Kalota in his face that should he or any other government official do anything contrary to what they want to do, they will not hesitate to take serious action against such individuals. The district commissioner had his head down throughout this deliberation.
Tuwena kukamuteta uraponka po tukwa kura kuchina ni taikuba tuwatsinda po nenangwa tuambe kwa mamba tutature byatama pano pa office ke tusa kuchina ni tuwena kwikiso mambo byomwe nakubake byawamani munai kwa mama mwasebeza kwesakanya nabibe nakukeba abantu ino ntanda ya kiti tutature kutoboka na kafurumendene don't fear mwana kuchina kaju mwana kuchina
se makampani aiya muno banangire musokorwe wasokorwe wamukumbikizera sonka mambo mwane atweva kufuma zuba za rero twaya kukalengwa mine byonka bisa kumwekana inge bake bakutuma madeke nangwa mabomu yapera betujishe mino basende yewa mukochi burongo kupaye washawi kafurumende tebake twamupatane twakana ko tushawiye twakana.
After delivering the message to him, they stood and left his office. Mr. Kalota, on the other hand, calls for calm in dealing with him at hand.
We heard the cries of the people of MUFUMBWE, but all in all, I'm asking the people of MUFUMBWE, especially people from the loyal family, that let's just carry this thing in a way that will help us. His Excellency has an ear, he has eyes, and he has the heart for every Zambian. And if he has done it elsewhere, I see no reason as to why he can fail to do such a thing to the people of MUFUMBWE.
Earlier, Chief Chizela himself held a stakeholders meeting at his palace where a number of issues regarding the mine were raised. Senior Chief Mukumbi Chizela was represented by his senior Induna.
As the traditional custodian for the land for the Kaonde people of MUFUMBWE, I can confirm that I have never given surface rights or consent to KALENGWA Mineral Processing Limited or any other company that is associated with or dealing with them.
Former MUFUMBWE Member of Parliament Stephen Masumba was also in attendance.
Why do we want to allow people to come and grab what belongs to us? KALENGWA mine is a non-partisan issue. KALENGWA mine calls for the people of UPND, for the people of Patriotic Front, for the people of NDC, for everyone to team up and work as one.
My appeal to the government is that this mine can make a change to the livelihood of our people, not only in MUFUMBWE, not only in Northwestern Province, but Zambia as a whole.
It seems mine wrangles have started taking root in Zambia as the issue is equally boiling at Kasenseli Gold Mine in Mwinilunga district of Northwestern Province as the people are dying with anger in their hearts on account that they are not benefiting anything from the mine, but others are. Kalan Muchima reporting for Camnet News.
Still in the news, World Vision Zambia has invested 800,000 kwacha to set up a mechanized water system at Chaponda village in Kasenengo district of Eastern Province. Handing over the project, World Vision Zambia Director Wezi Kaira said 1,300 people representing 200 households will access piped water as a result of the installation. Mr. Kaira disclosed 47 standing taps have been connected at different points where households can access water, while a provision of 5 water throughs have been made as drinking points for animals. We have more in this report.
Access to safe and clean water is not only a basic need for mankind, but a necessity to sustain all forms of life. World Vision Zambia has handed over a mechanized water system worth 800,000 kwacha at Chapunda village in KALENGWA district.
World Vision and the people of Chapunda village have invested 800,000 kwacha into this system. You might want to know that since 1998, World Vision has been working with Chipata District Council to implement water and sanitation and hygiene programs in 3 wards of Chipata District and now KALENGWA, namely Makungwa, Chingazi and Kwenje, covering the chiefdoms of MWEEMBA and Nzamani.
Chief Mazimawe of the Ngoni-speaking people of KALENGWA district was also present at the handover.
Ndiye chitukuko cha zoona. Kalikale tuzogawa na Sarawura, nao ma-oversize. Komaromba, tina chitukuko cha zoona. Real development. And please, we are ever grateful to World Vision family for this wonderful gift that has been given to us in this community.
KALENGWA District Council Secretary was guest of honor.
I wish to implore the people of Chapunda to put in effort in safeguarding the water system. I'm very sure that World Vision has spent colossal sums of money to construct the system. It would be very sad to hear that only one small component has broken down and the whole system has been abandoned because World Vision is no longer there to procure the item. Let us take it that this handover means that even the responsibility to look after the system is being handed over to you people of Chapunda.
And these are the beneficiaries appreciating the construction of the Chapunda water system by World Vision Zambia.
Kutapa tezo chosa kutali kutuka mgomo pamuto pakuti ndine nkhalamba nezovutika maningi so masiku ano kulingana na kuti manza bwera pafupi World Vision yatibwerezera manzi pafupi apo tiwanga zikomo kwambiri
mikira soti maninga mazima avi pogwirira na World Vision kuti vatetere manzi ya mtundu wamene tili nawo kuno kwatu na World Vision achitangati ni mulungu watu manje wamene watithandizira umoyo wasu.
Government is working in collaboration with various stakeholders to ensure that clean and safe water supply is easily accessible to people in rural areas right from their doorstep. Sylvester Chimba for the news in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
The slow rate at which government is constructing chiefs' palaces in MVUNGA district has become a source of concern for area member of parliament Credo Nanjua. And Chief Chibuluma of the Ila people of MVUNGA says there can be no meaningful development without improving the agriculture, health and education sectors. Speaking when he addressed and donated 64 roofing sheets worth 8,000 towards the construction of the Chibuluma Local Court and Chief's Palace, Mr. Nanjua said it was a pity that government has failed to complete the only palace in the district belonging to Chief Mono since 2014. He said the slow pace of construction is worrying and called on government to speed up the process in order to dignify the traditional authority. He further expressed worry at the state of Chief Chibuluma's palace, which he confessed needed urgent attention, hence his decision to procure 34 roofing sheets towards the construction of the palace.
Under phase 1, the government told we have under my chiefs. But after Shiminati, I didn't my phases. Under phase 1, I took the manda adi fate Ngubazaga, who from 2014-2015. But my chiefs, Mono Mozambia, over 280. 87. So now with Balazaga, mandate fate, 7 years. Yabalaga mani hani kwamba wabanishe wasema chiefs. Kuti tulalanga ya kwamba na utinganda yomwila dola 7 years. Buliko kuno tuende machief bajibuluma bamono bamulendema bakabulwe bakaindu bamumba 6 kwamba manda akamane ali 6 amachiefs tonse mono munimi mumumbwa constituency 6 times 7 years Nyaka yongai. Nyo bati babunga bati bakanjiremo mu munganda mbali after 42 years. Nishimani uti akanjireta na buyarwat. So jatu lemena. Bija kwamba implement tebigiri manu kuma palaces ama chiefs. Uji mujintu uti CDF Constituency Development Fund. Ni abuli mali akwana gabotu. CDF Your Royal Highness baratu po 1.6 million. Kwamba twabanye mawadi onse ali 12 mu Mumba constituency. Kintu yizumwa mbati tupange jintu jamani. But with CDF kabatupa mali ahula na 5 million 6 million ine ye. Kintu yuba obaja kwamba twa yakugweza na 500,000 kwacha. Kwamba twa amwaga katuzaga one palace. Inkuta tabika masenke alabe gati agata ngekubeka masenka ani nyankuta pedali mwi inganda ya bami masenka mwalanda kukumbuka.
Some people say we are developed in Zambia because they have got international airport where they have not gone yet. Sima na kwerepo na ndeke ba development because of airport. No. When we have these three factors or four of these things, then we are developed. Without that, we are not developed. Uribe sukuru watenene developed. Uribe chipatele watenene development. Uribe nsima watenene development. Bazanga. Let's be developed in these four spheres. If we go developed in these four spheres, then we are developed because we shall generate and build ourselves.
The Edgar Chagwa Lungu Multi-Purpose Empowerment Cooperative has implored members of the public to register with the cooperative if they want to benefit from various empowerment programs. Cooperative Coordinator Evelyn Chilongozibanda says the cooperative aims at training individuals and exercising cooperative and existing cooperatives rather. Ms. Banda says members will be trained in report writing, leadership skills and product marketing, which will ultimately put them at an advantage point of accessing funds. He says this will reduce the poverty levels in the country through innovation and teamwork. She says Zambians are hardworking people but lack the push or know-how on how to do business and source for empowerment.
On the ground and visited a few places to find out from the people on the grassroots of what they really needed in order to better their lives. We went to Eastern Province, Muchinga, Luapula, Katuba area. We've done a bit of Lusaka, Kanyama, and there's a team still on the ground because we feel and we found there was need. We discovered that there were many registered cooperatives, of which some have been running for over 10, 15 years, but not at full capacity. Some had the passion and the dream to get established, but lacked resources to start their projects. Generally speaking, Zambians are hardworking people who are not interested in begging for bread. Many of us would love to put their hands to good work so that we can put food on the table and send our children to school. That is why we try by all means to work and look for money for our businesses to actually take off. It's against this background, ladies and gentlemen, that we embarked on a mission to try and play our part in actualizing the President's call through empowering cooperatives in our nation. The ECL Mount Pepos Empowerment Cooperative was therefore born
out of this call by His Excellency the President's strong desire to use cooperatives as one of the vehicles.
We now take our last set of commercials to stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
I have used Oracle Pure Glycerin for 2 years now. It has really worked for me. It has cleared all the black spots on my face. It has restored my skin beauty. It also smoothens the skin. Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for perfect skin. If it's not Oracle Glycerin, then it's not pure glycerin.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera has backtracked on his campaign promise to create 1 million jobs, saying government can only employ 200,000 people. President Chakwera said the government could not create jobs on its own and needed the private sector's help. He said every entrepreneur needed to employ more people. The president spoke during his 100 days event on Monday. The 1 million campaign promise was a major talking point for the alliance that was elected in repeat presidential poll. Critics have told local media that the alliance had no job creation plan and was just using it as a campaign strategy. We now move on to sports news. In sports news, the 8 foreign-based players summoned for the 3 friendly matches against Malawi, Kenya and South Africa have all arrived in the country, with Belgium-based Fashion Sakala as the last to arrive in the country to complete the Mitchell 28-man squad. Mitchell has confirmed that Tanzanian-based duo of striker Obi Chira and midfielder Cletus Chama have been dropped from the squad until further notice for apparently missing their flight twice on Monday. The Serbian gaffer has also confirmed that Mwape Musonda has asked to be excused from the Chipolopolo squad because of a great offer he has received from the United Arab Emirates club. Mitchell has expressed happiness with the commitment of Patson Daka and Enoch Mwepu, despite them not traveling for the matches due to COVID-19 complications at Red Bull Salzburg. The match against Malawi tomorrow, Mitchell will only use locally based players, while foreign-based players will face Kenya on Friday and South Africa on Sunday. Zambia will also face South Africa, PSL Giants, Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. The story is courtesy of Zamfoot Sports.
It has been up and down with the 13th with South Africa, with the 11th and whatsoever. Finally, we have settled, and the program is set as follows. Tomorrow we are playing Malawi at Hero Stadium. Hero Stadium in order our players to get ready for the tension, stress and pressure that could bring a match against Botswana in November in qualifiers. So expecting that our players will tomorrow show what we have done in last 10 days of preparation for this important match to us. I would like to say that on Thursday we are flying to Kenya, where on Friday we are playing friendly match against Kenya national team against newly refurbished national stadium Nyayo. Then on Saturday we are flying to South Africa, and in South Africa we are having acclimatization on Saturday. On Sunday 18 hours in Rustenburg we are playing match against Bafana, and after that match suppose 6 of our professional players are supposed to go back to their clubs and whatsoever. And when someone comes from Russia 10,000 kilometers away and someone is here bordering with us, with all due respect, based on that first pillar that I told iron discipline, I could not allow that anyone is bigger than the nation. Therefore, with my unilateral decision, supported by this institution, I have decided that I remove from these matches, until further notice given, gentleman whose name is Chama Kletus and Chirva Obri.
Meanwhile, the Football Association of Zambia, FAZ, has learned with deep shock the passing of the association vice president, Rix Mwemba. Association Deputy General Secretary Joseph Chipampwe has since described the late Mwemba as a selfless person. He disclosed that the late FAZ vice president contributed greatly to the growing of the institution and the Zambian sport. Prior to being appointed as FAZ vice president in April 2017, the late Mwemba served as FAZ treasurer and played a huge role in the restructuring of Zambian Premier League as chairperson of the league restructuring working group.
The program that is lined up, there are 3 matches. So just to get those matches realigned would be as good as coming to 0. We do appreciate, and I think most of you knew who Mr. Mwemba was. If he was around, he would have actually said, go ahead, despite my absence. That's the kind of man he was. So we can only wish him...
Selfless.
Yes, he was a selfless man. So.
Still on a sad note, former CHIPOLOPOLO boys defender Hilary MAKASA has died. MAKASA died at Lusaka's University Teaching Hospital Monday evening. The predominantly right-footed, who became a fixture of left back, will be remembered for his long-range strike in the 4-2 defeat to Tunisia in the semi-finals at the CAF 1996 Africa Cup of Nations in South Africa. Alongside the likes of the late Dennis Lota, Andrew Tembo and Vincent Mutale, MAKASA was one of the 5 members of the Fantastic Five that Danish coach Ronald Poulsen brought in the all-conquering 1994 squad. MAKASA featured in 5 matches at the 1996 African Cup of Nations. On the local scene, he featured for boyhood club Ron United before he snapped up by Kabwe Warriors. With an impressive showing at the African Cup of Nations, he was snapped up by South African side Ajax Cape Town. After retirement, he came back home and settled in Kafue. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a look at the headlines once again. MUFUMBWE KALENGWA's mine wrangles deepen. Christopher MVUNGA sworn in as BOZ governor. MPs take turns in questioning the relevance of the Ministry of Religious Affairs. In international news, Malawi president backtracks on 1 million jobs promise. And in sports news, FAR's Vice President Rix Mwemba and former CHIPOLOPOLO defender Hilary MAKASA have died. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Isaiah 54 verse 14 to 15, and it reads, "In righteousness you shall be established, you shall be far from oppression, for you shall not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near you. Indeed, they shall surely assemble, but not because of me. Whoever assembles against you shall fall for your sake." On that note, and on behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV, not just another channel.